Dear students, welcome to School Success. This video is about the poem Night of a Scorpion. I'll be talking about the line by line explanation of the poem, the theme of the poem, summary of the poem, message conveyed by it, and the question and answers. So let's get started. I remember the night my mother was stung by a scorpion. Here, in this line, the first line, the speaker recalls the night when his mother was stung by a scorpion. 10 hours of steady rain had driven him to crawl beneath a sack of rice. It says that due to continuous rain for 10 hours, the scorpion sought shelter beneath a sack of rice. Parting with his poison, flash of diabolic tail in the dark room, he risked the rain again. So here, the scorpion stung the mother and then fled, risking the rain outside. Parting with his poison. It means that the scorpion injected its venom into the mother when it stung her. Flash of diabolic tail in the dark room. It refers to the quick, sinister movement of the scorpion's tail as it delivered the sting in the darkness. He risked the rain again. It suggests that after stinging the mother, the scorpion quickly fled back outside even though it was still raining heavily. Fourth line says, the peasants came like swarms of flies and buzzed the name of God 100 times to paralyze the evil one. So this line tells that the villagers rushed to help, invoking God's name repeatedly to counteract the scorpion's evil. The peasants came like swarms of flies. That means that many villagers quickly gathered around, just like a large group of flies would swarm around something. Buzzed the name of God 100 times. It suggests that the villagers repeatedly called out to God, saying prayers or chanting, hoping to help, to paralyze the evil one. It refers to their belief that by praying they could stop or weaken the scorpion's venom, which they saw as something evil. Fifth line, with candles and with lanterns, throwing giant scorpion shadows on the mud-baked walls, they searched for him. He was not found. That means despite searching with lights, they couldn't find the scorpion. Let's split the line to understand. With candles and with lanterns means that the villagers used candles and lanterns to light up the dark room, throwing giant scorpion shadows on the mud-baked walls, suggests that the light from the candles and lanterns cast big scary shadows of the scorpion on the walls made of dried mud. They searched for him, he was not found. It means that the villagers looked everywhere for the scorpion, but they couldn't find it. Sixth line says they clicked their tongues. That means expressing frustration or disappointment at not finding the scorpion. Next line. With every movement that the scorpion made, his poison moved in mother's blood, they said. So here people believe that the poison spread in the mother's blood with each movement of the scorpion. Let us split it again. With every movement that the scorpion made means that each time the scorpion moved, the villagers thought it had an effect on the mother. His poison moved in mother's blood, they said. It reflects the villagers' belief that as the scorpion moved, the venom it injected into the mother would spread further through her bloodstream. Next line. May he sit still, they said. May the sins of your previous birth be burnt away tonight, they said. May he sit still, they said. That means that the villagers were hoping the scorpion would stay in one place and not move around. They believed that if the scorpion stayed still, the poison in the mother's body might not spread further. May the sins of your previous birth be burned away tonight, they said. It refers to the villagers' belief in karma and reincarnation. They were saying that the mother's suffering might cleanse or burn away any bad actions or sins from her past life, making her spiritually pure. Next line. May your suffering decrease the misfortunes of your next birth, they said. So here they hoped that the mother's suffering would lessen future misfortunes. Let's split this line. May your suffering. It means the pain and hardship the mother is going through because of the scorpion's sting. Decrease the misfortunes of your next birth. It refers to the idea that the mother's current suffering might reduce or prevent bad things from happening to her in her next life. Next line. May the sum of all evil balanced in this unreal world against the sum of good become diminished by your pain. So here in this line, they wished for the mother's pain to diminish the overall evil in the world. Let us split the line to understand it better. May the sum of all evil. It here refers to all the bad things that exist in the world, balanced in this unreal world against the sum of good. Here it suggests that in the world, good and evil are constantly in a sort of balance or struggle against each other. Become diminished by your pain means that the mother's suffering might reduce the amount of evil in the world, making it more balanced towards good. 11th line. May the poison purify your flesh of desire and your spirit of ambition, they said. So here the villagers were saying that they hoped the poison would help the mother let go of earthly desires and ambitions, making her more spiritually pure and free from worldly attachments. Next line. And they sat around on the floor with my mother in the center, the peace of understanding on each face. So in this line, the people gathered around the mother, displaying a sense of calm and understanding. Let us split this line to understand better. They sat around on the floor with my mother in the center. It means that the villagers sat in a circle on the floor with the mother in the middle of the group. The peace of understanding on each face. It suggests that the villagers had calm and peaceful expressions as if they understood and accepted the situation. More candles, more lanterns, more neighbors, more insects, and the endless rain. So here the scene is described with additional candles, lanterns, neighbors, and insects amidst the continuous rain. So let's split it further. More candles, more lanterns means that as the night went on, people kept bringing more lights into the room. More neighbors suggests that more and more people from the village kept coming to see what was happening. More insects indicate that as the lights attracted bugs, there were more insects buzzing around. And the endless rain, that means that outside the rain kept falling without stopping. My mother twisted through and through, groaning on a mat. My mother twisted through and through. It means that the mother was moving and writhing a lot because she was in so much pain. Groaning on a mat. It means that she was lying on a mat, probably on the floor, and making sounds of pain like groans or moans. Next line. My father's skeptic, rationalist, trying every curse and blessing, powder, mixture, herbs, and hybrid. Let us split this line to understand better. My father, skeptic, rationalist, means that the father didn't usually believe in superstitious or religious practices. He preferred logical and scientific thinking. trying every curse and blessing. It suggests that despite his usual skepticism, the father was desperate and willing to try anything, including superstitious rituals and prayers. Powder, mixture, herb, and hybrid refers to the different remedies he tried, such as traditional medicines, herbs, or any combination of treatments he could find. Next line. He even poured a little paraffin upon the bitten toe and put a match to it. Let us split it and understand. He even poured a little paraffin upon the bitten toe. It means that the father applied a small amount of paraffin, which is a type of flammable liquid, to the toe where the scorpion had stung the mother and put a match to it. It means that he then lit the paraffin on fire, hoping it would help with the pain or poison. I watched the flame feeding on my mother. I watched the flame. That means the speaker observed the fire that the father had lit. Feeding on my mother means the fire was burning the paraffin on the mother's toe, which was part of the treatment. I watched the holy man perform his rites to tame the poison with an incantation. The speaker observed a holy man performing rituals to neutralize the poison through chanting. Let us split this line. I watched the holy man perform his rites. It means the speaker observed a religious or spiritual leader carrying out special rituals or ceremonies. To tame the poison with an incantation means that the holy man was using chants or prayers to try to reduce or control the effects of the poison from the scorpion's sting. After 20 hours, it lost its sting. After 20 hours means that a lot of time had passed, specifically 20 hours. It lost its sting means that the poison's effects became weaker or went away. And the last line says, my mother only said, thank God the scorpion picked on me and spared my children. My mother only said. It means that after all the suffering, the mother said something. Thank God the scorpion picked on me. It means that she was grateful that the scorpion stung her instead of someone else and spared my children. It means she was relieved that her children were not harmed by the scorpion. So, despite her ordeal, the mother expressed gratitude that the scorpion stung her instead of her children. So, mother was thankful that the scorpion stung her and not her children, despite her own pain and suffering. Now, let me discuss the summary of the poem. Night of the Scorpion is about a night when the poet's mother is stung by a scorpion. It had been raining for hours and the scorpion came inside to escape the rain. When it stung her, villagers quickly gathered and prayed to God to stop the poison from spreading. They brought candles and lanterns but couldn't find the scorpion. The villagers believed the scorpion's movement would make the poison move in her blood. They hoped her suffering would cleanse her past sins and protect her from future misfortunes. The poet's father, who usually didn't believe in superstitions, tried everything to help, from traditional remedies to setting her toe on fire with paraffin. For 20 hours the mother suffered the pain. Finally, the poison lost its effect. Despite her suffering, the mother thanked God that the scorpion had stung her and not her children. The poem shows the strong bond of family, faith, and community in difficult times. Now, let me discuss the message conveyed by the poem. The poem Night of the Scorpion by Nazim Ezekiel conveys several important messages. It highlights a mother's selfless love and protective nature as shown by her gratitude that she was the one stung by the scorpion instead of her children. The poem also emphasizes the importance of community support during times of crisis as the villagers gather to pray and offer help. Additionally, it contrasts the villagers' traditional beliefs and rituals with the father's rational, scientific approach, illustrating the coexistence of faith and reason in dealing with challenges. Lastly, the poem showcases human capacity to withstand or recover quickly from difficulties, as the mother endures 20 hours of pain with remarkable strength and calmness. Overall, the poem expresses themes of love, community, faith, and resilience. Complete these sentences. After stinging the narrator's mother, the scorpion risked the rain again and crawled away. Second, the villagers clicked their tongues to show that they were concerned and believed the scorpion's poison was moving in the mother's blood with every movement. Third, the villagers thought that the scorpion had stung the narrator's mother because of sins from her previous birth and to reduce the misfortunes of her next birth. The holy man tried to counter the effect of the poison by performing his rites and chanting an incantation. Let's do question answers. Question number one: how did the scorpion make its way to the narrator's mother? And the answer is the scorpion made its way to the narrator's mother by crawling into their house during 10 hours of steady rain, seeking shelter under a sack of rice. Second question: what did the peasants pray for? Answer is the peasants prayed for the following. Number one, the scorpion to stay still so its poison would not spread further in the mother's body. Two, the mother's sins from her previous birth to be burned away by the suffering. Three, the mother's suffering to reduce the misfortunes of her next birth. Fourth, the balance of good and evil to shift positively due to her pain. And last, the poison to purify her flesh and spirit. Question 3. How did the narrator's mother recover? And the answer is the narrator's mother recovered after 20 hours of agony. Despite the intense pain and suffering caused by the scorpion's sting, the poison eventually lost its sting. This suggests that either the venom's effect wore off naturally or that the various remedies and prayers administered by the villagers and the holy man contributed to her recovery. Question 4. Which words or phrases in the poem express movement? And the answer is words and phrases in the poem that express movement include number 1, crawl beneath, 2, parting with his poison, 3, every movement that the scorpion made, 4, twisted through and through, 5th, feeding on, 6, perform his rites, 7, tame the poison. Next question, write a summary of the poem in your own words. And the answer is the poem Night of the Scorpion recounts the events of a night when the narrator's mother was stung by a scorpion during heavy rain. Villagers gather and try various traditional remedies and prayers to ease her suffering, expressing a mixture of fear, superstition, and empathy. The narrator's father attempts different methods, including burning the wound with a match. Despite the pain and agony endured by the mother, she remains thankful that her children were spared by the scorpion. The poem explores themes of communal unity, the power of faith, and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. C part. Read these lines from the poem and answer the questions that follow. First line is they searched for him, he was not found. A part. Who were they? Answer is they refers to the villagers who gathered to search for the scorpion after the narrator's mother was stung. B part. Who was not found? And the answer is the scorpion was not found despite the villagers' search efforts. C part. What did they say when he was not found? When the scorpion was not found, the villagers clicked their tongues in dismay. D part. What does this say about them? The answer is this indicates that the villagers were disappointed and frustrated when they couldn't find the scorpion. Second line from the poem is he even poured a little paraffin upon the bitten toe and put a match to it. A part, who is he? In this line, he refers to the narrator's father. B part, what did the narrator describe him as immediately before this? The narrator described him as a skeptic and rationalist immediately before this line. C part, how did his actions differ from what the narrator thought of him? And the answer is his actions pouring paraffin on the bitten toe and putting a match to it differ from what the narrator thought of him as a skeptic and rationalist because these actions seem more like desperate attempts to counteract the scorpion's venom through traditional remedies rather than rational or skeptical approaches. D part, why according to you does he behave in this way? And the answer is he might have acted this way out of desperation and a desire to help. Seeing his wife in pain from the scorpion's sting, he might have tried anything he could think of, even if it seemed irrational, in the hope that it would relieve her suffering. Think and answer. First question. The poem contains several superstitions that are commonly accepted in our society. Do you agree? Give reasons for your answer. Answer is yes. The poem shows that many people believe in superstitions. When the scorpion stings the mother, the villagers react with prayers and rituals, thinking it's because of past sins. The father also tries traditional methods like pouring paraffin on the sting. These actions show how superstitions affect people's beliefs and actions, especially when they are scared or don't understand what's happening. Second question, read the last three lines of the poem. Do they surprise you? Give reasons for your answer. Answer is yes. The last three lines are surprising because despite the pain and suffering caused by the scorpion's sting, the mother expresses gratitude for being chosen instead of her children. This reaction might seem unexpected because one would typically expect someone to express anger or frustration after enduring such agony. However, her response reflects her selflessness and deep love for her children, prioritizing their well being over her own suffering. Third question, how do you think the entire night's experience made the narrator feel? Give a reason for your answer. The answer is the narrator probably felt scared and worried throughout the night. Seeing his mother in pain and the villagers trying to help her might have made him feel anxious. Moreover, his father's attempts to cure her with unusual methods like burning paraffin could have been confusing. However, when his mother thanked God for sparing her children, it might have given him some relief and admiration for her strength. So the whole experience likely left him feeling a mix of fear, confusion, and respect for her mother. So, children, that was all about the poem The Night of a Scorpion. Hope you liked the video. For more such videos, please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you and have a good day.